I'm still proud of chicanery and bedevilments. I feel pretty good about that
See,
one
that's
still.
good for the name, but, like,
Hmm.
what'd you do? I want a side quest for Nick and
Where
Mac
they
where we learn all about them, in the sense that we don't learn anything about them, but we learn a lot of more superficial details that don't amount to anything about, like, what the fuck is going on with these 2.
Yeah, that's reasonable. You have actually, I think, more lore about them than anyone else does.
Yeah, that's fair. I went inside.
Yeah. Uh, but since they are miles and miles and miles away, presumably, who wants to recap what happened in our last session for inspiration?
Get the journal out. I could be horribly meaning. We finally leveled after 3 months.
I'm sorry.
Oh, did I do that? Hold on.
Did we know?
Did we level?
By Ted's math, you
I don't know
leveled.
about y'all, but but I did.
So you're level 10, Ted?
The 7,200 put us at 64,000
Oh,
exactly.
fuck. I didn't know! Oh, no!
Would we like to take a little bit of time to level up and do math for those who may not be quite
Shit.
at that level yet?
You got till I finish recap,
Alright, I got
suckers.
this, I got this.
Yeah.
Hold on, I need to type in D&D 5e HP calculator.
Mine's super easy. I just can't get drunk anymore.
Yeah,
Oh no!
You got debuffed, actually.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I love the melancholy in your voice when you said that.
He
Mine's
knew it's
easy.
coming. He's been thinking about it for a long time. I think even considering reclassing, right?
Multi-class just to avoid that feature.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, there it is.
Okay, we started off with a mind flayer, a squiddy busting in on the group as we were exploring a temple. I'm going to phrase it as him coming after us. Certainly not one of us throwing open a door and they're standing there, because if he comes after us, he's the aggressor and we're justified in
Framing is everything.
the near immediate murder that happened. Godric took out the squiddy. There were a bunch of prisoners chained to the walls of the room that the mind flayer was in, many of whom looked like they were in real bad shape. A couple of whom even definitely have some damage to the eye and or ear, which does not bode well for them. Meanwhile, in the old dwarven temple, the jars, I say temple because there were statues, had a very temple feeling. The jars were full of brains and tadpoles, and with Sansi's help, it got torched, and we spiked the door, completely sealing the room. Good riddance. One of the prisoners was is a fae named Crow, possibly an agent of the, I say possibly, probably is in my notes, an agent of the same fae that Owl works for, probably hunting the same artifact that we were here to find. Decided to keep them somewhat close to us so we could keep an eye on them, basically. And Inks and Crow are fast friends now, because that worked out so well last time. We decided to do a quick run through of most of the rest of the facility as we were prepping all of the prisoners to try to get them back to the Baxium Towers, figuring that if there is any hope for the 3, I think it was 3. My notes say the infected, but for some reason in my head I believe there were like 3 that were like, yeah, these 3.
It was 3. It was rolled, I believe.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If there is any hope of saving them, the best chance for that is at the Baxium Towers. We, other than a single door that was across a parapet, presumably leading into either another wing of the facility or another exit from the facility entirely, we scouted through the facility, bumped into the mind flayer that Ulvius had a meeting with, and they did. That mind flayer, not Ulvius. Ulvius is fine. And so while we were on our way back, we ran into a patrol of the Crusaders. Haza got the initiative on them, definitely kicked things off. And after they were down, rather, with some help, we took one of them apart, found out kind of how they're constructed, having an ironwood core under their armor, and then there is something fibrous and noodly at the core of the ironwood that sort of makes up their insides. They're not golems, not like the ones we've seen. They're not clockwork. They harken back to a design created by a general whose name is lost or unknown at least. Somewhat more myth than like true historical knowledge. It's been some time. The general is the one who had this sort of design, who created an army. If I remember correctly, since somehow this did not make it into my notes, it just says couldn't be. The general is a damn myth, yet here we are. The core feels like wet noodles, almost no direct link to the ironwood skeleton. Got to find someone we can take these things to, someone who can study them. Stayed up all night. Yeah, Torek has a level of exhaustion, but we got the Crusaders taken apart. We broke them. We took off all their limbs and brought the cores. Like we are carrying the casket, as I call it, that contains I believe it was described as sort of like fiber optic cables.
Pretty much, yeah.
That make up their insides. Ulvius is carrying one. Some of them are strapped to Pekareva, and Ulvius has collected a bunch of the pieces of ironwood. And that's sort of where we left off, having made it through the night and on our way back to the Baxium Tower. It is the 27th of Tarsak by my
Glad you're
measure.
keeping track.
Yeah, who knows if that's entirely correct.
Yeah. Time's gotten a little bit stretched without a sun. And only your own.
I am a subterranean kobold. I don't need no sun.
Yeah, but you also don't really need to measure days either, you know? You measure things in shifts like you guys have been working. Which could mean that you go outside and it could be a different time than you would have expected. Well, with all that you have, you are able to complete your long rest without any other encounter. You have had a map that has been able, and you have been leaving markers as well on the path as you've been navigating. So I'm not requiring checks for your return trip. In the morning, is there anything, as some of you have slept and some of you have not, that anyone wants to establish for the day before you set out?
I know I was up late working and didn't finish a long rest, but I have at least gotten a short rest in there.
That's fine. All right. With that, then, how would you like to proceed in your return to the tower.
We're just going back the way we came, right?
Believe so.
Kind of pace are you trying to set?
Probably pretty brisk.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the people that we're walking with are gonna like it much, but yeah.
I was gonna say it beats imprisonment, but there are a couple here who are currently bound with the understanding that they have been infected by
Uh-huh.
something. So, eh.
Yeah, they might want to hustle.
Yeah. I think the paranoia and the uncertainty, despite the fact they have very little physical capability, is ushering in the urgency, and many of them are making do and trying to move as quickly as they are capable of doing. With that, who's leading?
Pecorino, I can range ahead. Actually,
Okay.
what am I talking about? Pecorino is weighed down by Horse. I will range ahead.
Okay.
Although, Inks, you wanna do that? I'm super fucking tired. I was up all night.
I was up all night, but I'm ready to go.
Okay, well, carry me, and then I will go with you.
Ooh, carrying's not really my thing.
Yeah, well, probably best if two of us do it anyway. We're faster than. Actually, we're not really that much faster than everybody else. Really, just faster than what Ulvius and Mel.
Like, speak for yourself. I just got a buff to my speed.
Well, la dee da for you. Yes, you drew scout duty then.
Aw,
Yeah,
damn
the
it.
buff to speed is not being able to get drunk anymore.
All right, I'll scout.
Yeah, I think that's just called not having a hangover.
Oh my god. That's why Inks has been running slower than she could have, is just because she's constantly hungover.
She's incapped herself. All right. Well, with that being the case, then, Inks, as you are taking lead, looking for Torix markers and having the opportunity to be within calling distance of him to make sure that the path that you are walking is indeed the correct one. You will find actually, interesting. You do find, of course, the crossing where not crossing, I guess, but the T intersection where the uh, the Chamber of Eyes is one way, the Baxium Tower is the other. Um, I'm going to assume you're headed towards the tower.
Yes.
Okay. Um, then further in your scouting, a few hours into the day or night or whatever time it is, um, there is the Myconid colony that is still sort of huddled in that cavern which you had found it in the first place. Or I guess where it had been found in the first place.
I'm not fucking with him.
All right, you're just breezing past.
Uh-huh.
Okay, excellent. I take that to mean then, since your scout is moving on ahead, that everyone then is moving past.
Yeah, we're planning to come back this way, so yeah. At least as far as we currently know.
All right. Then The day begins to stretch onward. The plant life, the flora, and the stonework begin to look a little bit more and more familiar, more hewn and shaped, sculpted, as you get closer and closer to what you call civilization in the Underdark, and eventually. Expedition concludes as you once again find yourself in the vast Underdark chamber where this small village-ish conglomeration. Uh, once again, you have returned once again. Ugh, ugh. Wow. Okay. I'm not gonna drop all of the little people on the map, but you have 14 followers with you.
Well, we need to see about the infected ones. Where do we start?
Ask
Probably.
somebody where the Vaxium Tower is.
Yeah.
I know they're not exactly our favorite. We're not exactly their favorite people right now. Well, I mean, only the one should really have a problem with us, but they
I
might
still
want to
think
know what was at the, knocking at the door for them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it helps that we have a lot of witnesses.
Max, did you mention that any of the prisoners were looked like people that might have belonged to this town that went missing? Like anyone had the Baxium Tower insignia anywhere?
I Let me double check if I wrote down because I did listen back and I remember mentioning it, but I believe what I said was no.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I believe that is what I said. I should have written it down.
I was just curious.
There's like
uh,
a name. This like town. I'm trying to remember what it was.
remember
Did
what?
it? What was the name of this town?
This is the. So you've entered through the Brittleboro Pass and are now in the essentially the realm of the Baxium Tower, which is this mage organization.
Got it.
hmm I know that clears that up so clear, like so well.
Speaking of, is there any conspicuous big wizard tower anywhere in the caverns that we see?
There isn't actually. There is only, as you can see, the magic circle that remains under the dilapidated form of a statue or maybe altar in the center of the chamber, and the orcs and folk in armor who sort of stand around it. Some of them apparently kind of loitering, but many of them on sentinel watch.
Hey, you.
Is that where you're going?
Yeah. Just gonna go right over to the closest one of them.
The helmeted orc sniffs at you and jerks his chin in your direction.
We need to talk to your bosses. We got some people that need help and a lot of information that they're probably gonna want.
He looks over his shoulder towards the circle and says, "They have an appointment."
I got 14? Well, really 3 major appointments.
He waits.
We have some people who require help, specifically of the magical variety.
We figure your
kind of help?
bosses probably want to know about the mind flayers that are nearby, also. Hopefully were. Also the Crusaders, who I understand have no particular love for your tower.
Really, two different levels of threats that somebody above you or some superior here might like to know about, in addition to the people that need help, if that wasn't enough by itself.
Make a persuasion check at advantage. All right. You can see the disinterest starting to wane even through the helm, and this person calls out in another language to someone, and a very large ogre walks over to you and says, "Summarize the problem."
We have with us victims to varying degrees of I think they are called Mind Flayer colony that was probably only 2 days travel from this location. The Mind Flayers had allied themselves with constructs. Uh, oh, I will actually hold my hand out and use a new cantrip I got, which is Minor Illusion, and make a picture of first, like, the Mind Flayer. Probably in her version, like, the tentacles are a lot longer and they look a little bit nastier. And then flicker a picture of the constructs.
Okay. Um, the ogre pulls out an appointment book from within his armor and begins like browsing through it a couple times. Reads over a couple pages before uh, scratching something out in the book and then pulling a sending stone. You hear the report simply: "A Lithid colony, outreach, within walking distance of the tower." And then he stows the stone. "Ivric will be with you momentarily." And he goes back to Sentinel.
Thank you.
You said Ivric.
Correct. Ivric. And surely enough, the construction that is this magic circle within the tower, or within the hall, the chamber, um, within a moment or two begins to light. You're waiting for a little while, maybe 15, 20 minutes, um, but shortly enough anyway. Um, for an individual who I think is on the token layer and he is not meant to be. Uh, um, a
Yup.
Yep, there he is. Um, a gentleman. Hold on, I've got a little. Where is it? Ta-da! Um, a blonde gentleman with long wavy hair and groomed mustache and beard and long brown and red robes, armed clearly with a short staff that sits at about cane height, that he uses to walk around. He speaks briefly with the ogre before coming to you and your horde. And he's and he says, "I apologize for the inconvenience. We have limited ability to visit often here in person. We must prioritize based on the dangers presented. And before he allows you to introduce himself, he says, um, he says, Drin told me about you, I believe. I understand you've already made her acquaintance.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
That was all a misunderstanding.
An incredibly regrettable incident.
Well, I am glad to hear that it was at least regrettable.
I mean, we endeavored to make it right, at least financially.
It is appreciated that you were able to return her to us. Every asset we have in the current is absolutely invaluable. Now, what is it exactly? I was informed of illithid infection. Is that correct?
And at least 3 of these people that we know of, we brought all of them because, I don't know, maybe there's some other form of magical and or something else we don't know about. In addition, a lot of points of verification, witnesses to what they saw for debriefing purposes.
Might I see them?
Yeah, I assume we probably like congregated them up outside.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
all like with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can push the 3 to the front. Ivric withdraws a couple tools from a little satchel, including a very fine speculum, which he pries into each of their ears, um, and hems and haws a little bit. Yes, I believe you are right. Often these sorts of things are nearly untraceable, but given that the wounds appear to be fairly recent, not only does it provide more time potentially for prevention of ceramorphosis, but also a more clear path. We can see exactly potentially where these creatures have burrowed themselves. The 3 of you are in good hands, provided we are able to find the resources for the 3 of you. And then he turns to you as a party and says, I appreciate you getting them to us quickly. We have the better opportunity of their survival at this time. Unlikely though it may be, and he gives a solemn look to the 3 of them. But we will do our best.
Sorry, what sort of resources are you
Yeah.
talking about?
There are certain herbs and tinctures that combined with particular products grown by many of the drow in the Underdark that can kill the worm upon ingestion. It does also leave the victim in a rather weakened state, so anything else that might happen to them in the meantime, well, unfortunately has the potential to do them in, but it is still better than the alternative, which is complete transformation into one of those monsters.
So it's basically like illithid birth control, illithid plan B.
Alarming, but accurate.
Huh.
So glad Pam B is canon now.
Is this something your people have on hand or can get in an expedient fashion?
We will do what we can. We have at least the resources and contacts for acquiring such materials, though whether we'll be able to find them in a quantity enough for the 3 of them will remain to be seen. I assure you, however, that the Baxium Tower, regardless of what the outcome may be, will have this handled. And if you wish to be informed, we can tell you of the outcome.
Are you capable of making certain that none of the others are infected in ways we don't know? These are just the 3 that we saw. You said that if it happened earlier, we might not know.
I can make attempts, but depending on how long they were encaptured, if they have healed entirely, it could be moments before the turning and ceramorphosis, or it could be dormant until the master of the colony has deemed that they are at an appropriate point for transformation.
In either case, knowing would be better for both, if not them, certainly for the public that they're about to reintegrate with.
Agreed. perhaps it will be best that we keep all of this number under observation for some time. We can then see if there is any indications of transformation. Once there has been enough time for the body to recover, unfortunately, they will be nearly undetectable.
Once they've recovered from some of the trauma, they may have more actual information about their captors. We raided the place and killed everything we saw, but it doesn't really mean we learned much about them
Well,
Or
I
that we got
mean,
them all.
or that we got them all.
we do know that they were allied with, I suppose, what would you call it? A nation? A
They had a
conglomerate?
business arrangement with the
Constructs, but
crusade.
they're not necessarily just like normal clockwork or golems. They are sentient, as far as we can tell.
Best to say they intelligent entities working on behalf of an intelligence, maybe with a capital I.
They've
A
Pretty certain
been,
crusade,
that-
you called it.
yeah.
yes, and they've been conducting raids above ground on the Sword Coast up north.
I'll use minor
Um,
illusion to show what one of them looked like.
but we didn't really anticipate their presence here. And we discovered that they were in a business dealing with the mind flayers. They provided slaves and, I suppose, um, spawn for the mind flayers by raiding above ground, and the mind flayers produced weapons. So that was their accord. There's probably more of them down there, and they might move.
I'll admit that you have brought me to some enlightenment. I myself had just the other day a arranged meeting for parley with this same system, nation as you called it. They offered and spoke of alliances for obviously naturally their own benefit, with the promise of resources in exchange for the tower. It had not come to light that they had had alliances with other aberrant creatures, particularly ones so happenstancely close.
Uh, it seems that they will enter into parley with anyone that doesn't get in the way of their designs, including ourselves when we passed by them the first time.
When we spoke to them the first time, they seemed like they were not particularly big fans of yours. Yeah, they're after some sort of order, and what did they call it? I don't know, but I don't remember. You all were definitely not part of it.
I do believe you're mentioned by name.
Mm-hmm.
The request on their part was to, I suppose, determine whether or not the tower was as unsovereign as we have made ourselves understood to be, both on the surface world and in the Underdark. And
Dissenters against order. I'm sorry for interrupting. That's what they called you.
that would be, I think, appropriately what we could be defined as if it were to be in such black and white terms. However, we are survivors here. We are not so unintelligent as to decide that order is not necessary or order is not a part of chaos. I mean, this entire place is an organization that is run without governance except for the hand of my own and a select few others. We may do as we please because there are very few who are in the way to prohibit us.
If I may be so bold, I understand and see where you're coming from and to an extent admire it. But I'm not quite sure that Crusade is going to be able to see eye to eye. They seem a little zealous.
I agree. The contract that had been provided to me was one that was left unsigned at the departure of the negotiating party.
Then it should be known that they were below you somewhere. We don't really know how they got there to begin with. We destroyed all of the ones that we saw, but we really don't know that much about them. We don't know if Crusade knows that we did it or how they communicate with each other.
This was also something that I questioned. There was no determinable means of detecting outward communications. I could not even peer into their own intelligences as they communicated with me, but that could just be the wit of their own.
Something interesting to note is I very much doubt that they're some sort of hive mind, I suppose, or controlled by one entity, because, like we mentioned, we raided the sort of small part of their operation, and there were illithids as well as these constructs, and we killed these constructs, and on the way back we met a patrol that we had seen earlier, and they were not hostile to us until we were the aggressors. So they
Seems
didn't get a
Really?
report.
that is useful insight. Perhaps it is that they are entirely reliant on verbal communication. Provided, of
Additionally,
course, they cannot find resources as can be found within the Baxium Tower, items that would allow for long distance communication and such.
we did not ask I will call them the prisoners as a group. They were the captives of the Mind Flayers, much about Crusade. But if Crusade or these constructs were, if they had to speak out loud, then it is possible some of these captives might have overheard things they did not realize were important.
While we have them in our custody, I shall make the polite inquisitions that we can.
Additionally, there are, it's hard to say how many, a number that I don't know if they're just, something is deeper wrong with them.
Understood.
Something isn't there behind their eyes. I don't.
This is unfortunately common. In fact, the number that you have escaped with, I will say, either considered to be the Illithids larger, or perhaps their incubators. Whatever they were determined, these people were found valuable enough to keep alive, and there are more of them than I would have expected. So I do congratulate you on your efforts.
There were some of these prisoners who were, feeble-minded in this way, and then set to do work, set to patrol and fight on the cause. There was an instance where one of those, uh, you know, feeble-minded beings was killed, and then the Mind Flayer that we were not quite at odds with yet, as we were getting the lay of the land, fetched the corpse and immediately began eating it. So, it could be they're useful until they're not, and then they're food.
This is all valuable information. Thank you.
Does the
Well,
tower have resources to take care of them?
Certainly, there will be place enough here. We can find at least refuge if we cannot bring any of them to a more hospitable location of rest. And we may yet find healers who might be able to assist. In fact, the chapel here might be able to offer some assistance.
Yeah, the chapel.
Well, besides taking these individuals from your responsibility, I have an inquiry for you, since you have been within the labyrinth. In your travels, and how long have you been here? Would you estimate?
Everyone's head snaps to Torek.
How long were we? Have we been here, including our time at the when we first got here, or do you mean specifically how long into the labyrinth?
When was it that you entered Brittleboro Pass? How was that?
3 days ago.
Hmm.
Wait,
You've
that
covered a
doesn't
lot of
sound right.
ground in such time.
Yeah.
That
Well, I
doesn't
mean,
sound right at all.
we got here, we killed that person, we slept, we resurrected that person, we left, slept in the labyrinth, got to the hall, slept again. So we've slept 3 times since we've arrived.
Yeah. Wow, my notes are right. 27th.
Then you probably have not yet otherwise encountered any other members of the tower. And his hand sort of holds the lapel of his robes.
We did find one while we were in the labyrinth. I don't know if they were a wizard. I don't think they were one of your wizards, but we did find a body.
Oh, wasn't that the one that was being eaten by rust monsters?
Yep, that's the one.
Hmm.
If I am remembering correctly, looked like they were maybe. Wait, I think I'm positive I have this in my notes. Heard an awful screeching. An orc. Yeah. They were an orc by the looks of what was left anyway.
Oh, that is dreadful news. That is unfortunate, and doubly so that it is not the individual with which I had hoped you maybe had seen. Tragrot, as unfortunate it is to hear of his demise,
I'm sorry. Is it drag rot
Tragrot.
with a T? Got it.
Yep. He was looking for one of our number who's gone missing some days ago. Undexius, a mage akin to my own talent, to put it hubristically. A fellow who has significant arcane training, decades of arcanic work, and a bit of a fair alchemist as it is as well. He had been looking into parts of the labyrinth, deeper delving than most of us had ever been before, and it is admirable, but he had been making some use of conjured creations that, well, powerful or unwieldy, and I have been worried for his, the direction he has taken, and his intentions behind seeking further into the labyrinth. The farther we go, the more that we know that there are certainly pieces of what is remaining of the archaic empire that built this place in its first place, that may yet be standing and may have thrived in their seclusion. I fear both for his safety and for his sanity.
Do you have any leads or landmarks to which he would be heading?
He had spoken before of. Well, now I've got to look at my notes. Yes. He had spoken before about passing through a location that some of the locals have referred to as the Chamber of Eyes. His assistant had chased after him, but I believe she has gone in an entirely different direction. She has yet also to return. She has been gone now, better part of half of the week, I believe.
I think we were headed back that direction.
Well, it's easy to get lost in these places. If you're able to find his apprentice or Undexius, I would really appreciate any word you might have.
In the just out of curiosity, you're there is something in the labyrinth that a select few know the location of. Right?
I I am aware of the reason for the presence of your order, Scriveners of Doom, and their house within
Was
our
there any
tower.
was there any mention of that in your discussion or your parlay with gosh, I always want to call them Legion. I don't know why. That's the first word that pops into my head. And then, and then I think Conquest, which is the wrong one.
Oops.
Give it to me. Sorry, I'm blanking.
Crusade.
Crusade. There
Or
we
if you
go.
if you want, like I've given them like two names, like a common name and then sort of the simplified name that they call themselves. Uh, the- yeah. In my notes, they are sometimes referred to as the Blight Force Crusade.
Anyways, in your parlay, did they mention the thing?
The matters of the gods are one of significantly lesser concern of mine. However, the privacy of my residence is of highest pertinence.
So it wasn't mentioned. Good.
They had not asked. I felt no need to divulge.
That was more the question. I assumed that you wouldn't have freely divulged that sort of information.
If they were aware of the presence of the House of the Scriveners, they made no note of it.
Well, that's good at least.
Well, I have, as it appears, 3 patients to attend to and 11 more who need examination. Is there anything else that I can help you find people with in the meantime?
I can think of.
Not for me.
Well, as I said, if you find Undexius or any word of him, please mention it to myself, any of the guards. I frequently do not place myself within the walls of this place, uh, unless direly recommended.
Well, I appreciate you coming out and doing this for us then.
I appreciate that you find it to be a compassion or mercy, but it is in truth the entire threat to our livelihoods to have these survivors go unchecked.
Yep. Sort of figured that would be the
Yeah.
case.
It's
Thought that.
not a consideration. It's just
It's
one thing
good
after
that
the other.
you see this as big of a threat as we do.
He nods and begins giving instructions to some of the guards to begin grouping the remainder of the survivors in counts, and then he goes to the circle and begins performing some rituals to begin transporting these people out of here.
I'm keeping a close eye on our Fey friend and what they choose to do here.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
They're with the
There's
prisoners, correct?
currently, yeah. Do you wish to stop them and speak with them any longer?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I'll just write down. I guess I don't have to write down on the paper.
No, you don't have to.
So what's your plan now?
Their response on the piece of paper given to them is to follow the mage, then come back.
Pass that along to the rest of the group.
Hmm.
Sounds like not our problem.
I'm with Doric.
I mean, yeah, I'm assuming we're out of earshot before I.
You can be out of your shot.
I mean, it's not like we can just say, no, you have to stay here forever. We got no say over this person. We just got to make sure we get back there before they do.
And it sounds like we're going back soon, huh?
Inks, if you think it's important or something we should do, I mean, we could uh, request that the Baxium Tower leave Crow in our custody, and with the assurance that if they should turn, they'll be dealt with. Um,
That's something we want to do. I mean, someone who can smell the artifact is a powerful ally, but then of course there will be disagreements with who keeps it.
mhm.
Feel
And
like
I
that's
just
probably
an
not what
idea. I
Doris.
don't know if it's our problem. I just you've spoken with them the most.
My concern is that they are bound to do certain sets of things in response to certain things occurring. If they see it, they will not simply let us take it.
Mhm. The other
Well,
concern that
then that
stems from
becomes
that
their problem.
train of thought, though, is you know they said they're gonna follow um, this person for how long? Are they gonna kill a guard to escape? I just worry. I mean, Paxium can handle themselves if that's the case. I just don't want any bystanders.
We
I
we
mean,
don't know if they're not, if they are infected, and if they are,
Mhm.
the tower's their best chance of being saved. The tower is also their best chance of them finding out if they're infected or not, since they couldn't seem to remember anything enough to say one way or the other.
I think that's a Very good point. And with that in mind, my vote is definitely to let the Baxium Tower keep them.
I mean, aren't we looking for this artifact? And aren't they our best lead to finding the artifact?
I mean,
Yeah,
if we've
that's
been
true.
told that it's in, if we've been told and we trust our source that it is in the hold of the tyrants,
Hmm.
there's only one room we haven't checked, and that's the direction they pointed whenever we
Which,
asked them.
I think we can find it on our own. We just have to make good time. Try to make sure we get it before them. They're going with the wizard. Who knows when they'll get a chance to go back into the labyrinth? Whereas,
Hell yeah, it just became a race, and we've got a head start.
Do you
And he kind of
do
like
you all want
rubs
to?
his hands together and like,
Gets down in a racing position.
yeah,
He
yeah,
starts jogging in place.
yeah.
oh,
Do you
well,
all want to do a few rounds, get some supplies, and get back out there? Because, I mean, the best sort of chance we have to get this thing unaccosted is the less time that we leave
Yep.
a hold full of bodies
think
unfound and garrisoned again.
sleeping in a bed is only going to make it worse to sleep
Sure
on
is.
a stony ground again. So I'm used to it now, so we should just get on back out there. Maybe get some rations.
Travel as much as we can, and then camp in the tunnels again.
well, I've got a little business to conduct in the meantime, so I'll try and unload this stuff as quickly as possible and then get back with all y'all.
Yeah, I need to do some restocking myself.
All right. That just means this is no longer a race, it's a marathon. We've got to do all of these things in an order and still come out in first.
Uh-huh.
So, business in town.
Yeah, where do you want to go?
I just want to restock some of the supplies I used.
Okay.
I assume it
Obvious.
won't be hard to get a hold of like pitons and oil, basic adventuring supplies.
Obvious. How can I help you with your quest?
Uh Really quick, I will see Torek buying oil and pitons and stuff, and Mel will like sort of stand behind him and then just get exactly how many pitons and flasks of oil.
6 and 6.
You
For
guys
how
go.
much, Ted?
Working on that part.
Yeah, you guys can go back to Train Gut Trading Post and make that exchange pretty easy. The blonde dwarf woman gives you congratulations on not being dead. Ulvius, where are you headed?
9 silver pieces. We'll
Well,
get to 6.
Godric, I thought I'd go to
That's all my silver
the
pieces. Hell yeah.
I'd go to Blackjack, that magic shop, and see if they're interested in buying all this ironwood.
All right. I will accompany you.
All right. The
I'll
two
tag
of you
along with
can.
them.
All right. All right. Let me. I don't feel like moving you guys on the map too much, but um, Inks, are you going with anyone?
I'm going with the resupply group.
Okay, perfect. Split. Got it. Okay.
Actually, do they have thieves' tools? Can I buy a set of thieves' tools?
Oh, yeah, from them for sure.
I'm just thinking ahead, Inks. I'm thinking ahead for when I know, I'm working on it.
For when I know how to use these.
Pretty much.
Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's see. The others go to a more, let's see, I believe this establishment I described last time is having a bit of a modest front, but the window has some arcane displays sort of rotating on a mechanism. Um, this time it looks like just a wand that is like tipping back and forth as it looks like it's touching just like little uh, runic stones that once they're tapped they light up and then they move on a ferris wheel till the next one is within one's reach and then they light up all in different colors fading as they circle through. um, as you enter you see that there is a black dragonborn who appears to be tending the shop dressed in fairly like really clean merchant's wear, like sleeves rolled and a smart vest buttoned well, um, and sitting on the counter beside them, sort of talking, is a hunched over individual in looser fitting but very similar clothing. Um, whose skin looks ghostly white and has fair white hair that is pulled into a ponytail that Haza instantly recognizes as the two turn to face the door. The gentleman who's sitting on the counter spins around with his legs pulled up and drops to the other side of the counter. Says, "Hey, welcome. What can we do you for?" And he smiles and winks at you, Haza.
Shopping first.
Sure, yeah. Come take a look. And
The other two
he,
can immediately see Hayes like fold her arms and like step back behind them, like you two are taking lead. We need to finish the shopping first.
he walks you around the shop, not giving a big sales pitch, but demonstrating what is for sale here. Um, that uh, that this shop offers, for the most part, common potions, healing potions, poisons, antitoxins, common and uncommon potions. Is that the right class? Yes. Um, and in addition to that, there are charms that are available. That is described as these are new to the inventory. They're designed for single-use miracles, or if you're willing to spend a little bit extra coin, they are long-term miracles performed. And so basically, I have a fun little thing here where you can purchase if you want a single use of a specified spell that is imbued within a talisman, like the stones that are on display in the window, or icons if you wish, religious iconography, whatever you'd like. Or you can have the charm embedded in you, which does require the time of effectively tattooing. Um, and the more expensive the item, the longer it will take uh, for the process. And let me check. I believe I've set it to you are allowed then to cast the spell once per day.
Any friends of the family discounts? Making dead
Uh,
ass eye contact.
yeah. Uh, without like acknowledging much, he just says, "Hazel, ordinarily this costs about 40% more than just a standard charm, and I have already knocked it down to 30."
You would say that, I suppose. How long does the embedded process take?
An hour for the easier ones. What do you think? And he looks over his shoulder at the Dragonborn, who waves his hand uncertainly but doesn't say anything. And about an hour longer depending on how complex it's going to be.
We need to tell Torque about the fine traps one.
How do you two know each other?
You want to lead?
Well, sure. This is my little protege, as it were. Uh, Spent a lot of time hanging out and eating my food when she
Hmm.
was little. Er,
For context, Ulvius, this is the fellow that I believe you would get along with pretty well.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. He sticks his hand out for you.
I'll shake hands. What is this individual's name? What's your name, sir?
You can call me Sal.
Okay, Sal. It's a pleasure to meet you. By the way you said that, I'm assuming that's not actually your name.
Well, Haza calls me Sal,
Mhm.
and some folks call me Salzo, and some people call me Blackjack, and some people call me you stupid, rotten son of a bitch.
All right, Sal it is. It's nice to meet you, Sal.
Nice to meet you too, Ulvius.
You know, it's fortuitous that we meet like this. You're very lucky. I've just happened to have come across all this ironwood and can't be dragging it around with me everywhere, so I've got to get rid of it, and I guess that makes it your lucky day.
Oh, now where is Hazel Inn going about finding ironwood?
A point of order, you've made it very conspicuous that you knew names before they were offered.
Well, that's because, as I mentioned to you before, if you'll recall, there is something that has worked out very well for me for deciding to stop hiding.
And so now, is it spying on me specifically, or
I'll be honest, the two times I have seen you now in the past year, I did not expect. So, no, I've not been looking for you, and if I'll be honest, when I saw you come through, I kind of thought you were looking for me. But I did hear that you'd passed through here, and it's been maybe, what, 3 days, I think, since you'd arrived? So I just kind of assumed that maybe you hadn't noticed.
there's a lot to unpack with this. Ulvius, do the business uh bartering first. Don't accept the first two offers that he gives.
I
Wow, it
mean,
sounds like you two do know each other pretty well.
He's pretty good at what he does, generally
Hmm.
speaking. Like you, actually.
Oh, that's very kind, Asa.
well, Olvius, like she mentioned, I do intend on offering a friends and family discount, especially someone who may be more familiar with the business. So let's see what you got.
Yeah, I will. I mean, not hard to see what I got. It's on a floating disc right behind me.
uh,
I attempt to step out of the way, and the disc moves with me.
The black dragonborn walks around the counter and begins pulling the pieces off of the disc, setting them onto the counter for inspection. Sal and this gentleman begin going over it a few times, noting, of course, as I had mentioned in our last session, that a lot of the ironwood no longer moves as it had been jointed to move, but that doesn't mean that much of it doesn't already have value. Um, Sal is quick to note uh, verbally, the shapes of this are very strange, and that doesn't look like this has seen a lot of. Well, there's some external damage, it looks like, but not a lot of weathering or age. You can still see a lot of the grain in this. How long ago did you find this? Where was it buried?
Oh, we found it relatively recently, and it didn't take much effort at all to get it all together. But as I said, I can't be carrying it around with me everywhere we go. So, again, your lucky day.
All right. Well, with all the pieces you got here, what do you think? And the dragonborn like tisks a little bit, and then writes a couple notes on some paper. A couple of like you see some drawings, sort of kind of
Mhm.
coming under their like drawing like under their hands, and Sal kind of nods and looks over while looking over their shoulder and says, "Okay, we think we could probably make a trade here.
Hmm.
We could offer up to, let's see, I'm gonna say this in more mechanical terms,
Mhm.
and I also need to look at the spells that are on the list to kind of see if this is even feasible. Yeah, okay. They will offer for all of it a an embedded charm of third level or lower, or a token charm for fourth level or lower. Or if you want to break them up so that you had like for the third level offer, one and
Mhm.
two or three ones. Likewise for tokens, you could do that.
Mhm. Well, that that sounds awfully good to me, but I guess in a bit of bad luck for you, where I'm here with someone who knows you so well, and they've already said that I should reject your first offer. Why don't we make the second offer a little better, and then we won't have to reject that one too? What do you say? Um, Two of the embedded spells of second level or lower, and a fourth level or lower talisman.
Make a persuasion check. Do you have advantage on this?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Hold on. I do not have advantage on it. I am. I do
I
have.
would love to give you advantage somehow.
Ooh, that hurts. I will. Yeah, I'll use an inspiration to reroll that.
Okay.
That's a lot better.
All right.
Jesus just beaming.
I'm sure we can find someone who'll buy this from us, even as is, without a lot of extra work, right? There's a little sneering smile from the dragonborn. All right, that'll do. He goes to shake your hand again.
Yeah, fantastic. Haza, Godric, I think I'm gonna claim one of those embedded spells, but if you guys would like one of the others, or perhaps the talisman, um, I think what's good for the team is good for Ulfius.
Do we want to go run and find the others first?
Oh well, he's gonna have to get started on the embedding process for this Zone of Truth charm. I figure that would come in handy for me.
You can already see some instruments being collected. You do see like a lot of small pieces of stone being like examined, and gemstones as well, as part of like the kit that he's getting together.
Godric, you're faster. Can you go get the others?
Absolutely, I can. I'm here to make things efficient. And he starts running.
I glance at Olvius.
It's certainly efficient.
Yeah, you can duck across the way towards the chain gut trading post and grab everybody else.
Mhm.
So, could I have a moment? Just a brief moment.
Sure. Uh, he'll he'll actually take you into the back room where you see a lot more of these rocks and stone.
Yeah, I will like drop the my standard face and put on
Mhm.
the like changeling face and reach forward and give him a hug as I mutter, "You fucking."
Oh, hey, are you okay?
Yes, I'm not dying. Everything's fine. I'm feeling sentimental, okay?
Wasn't something I said, was it?
No. It's been a while.
He puts his hand like on your hair, and says, "You cut it really short.
It was more it was more efficient.
Looks good."
What is this your permanent place? I'll take a step back.
For now, I mean, we tried reaching out to other places, other stonemasons, workers. Um, we're going where the work is, and right now it's here.
Is that why we ran into each other before?
Yeah, I swear, kid, I didn't think I was gonna ever see you again.
I guess you are more traveled and worldly than me, so I'll just ask up front. Have you heard the name Crusade?
He thinks and says, "I mean, I've not really. There were a couple people who we bumped into like on our way here a few months ago, um, mentioning something. Um,
Constructs that talked?
yeah, yeah, kind of, you know, it's actually kind of what gave me the inspiration to go and talk to, oh my God, I'm gonna call it the wrong fucking name. Erox. But, I mean, nothing came of that. I mean, after all of what happened there in Hullbeck happened, there was it's not like the whole place went under, but I mean, the
Do you know
doors
what
were practically
actually
sealed in the first place.
do you know what actually happened there?
I think you told me a little bit, right?
Doppelgangers. Like real doppelgangers though.
Oh, well, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, slaughtered at least one that I would consider probably a murder, and then the rest were killings. I tried, but they're not like us.
No, no. Shit, they muscled in before I could get there. Not saying that I mean,
Uh-huh.
whatever they were doing, I mean, it's way more fucked.
Uh-huh. But they can read people's minds and
Yeah, it's weird.
mhm. Okay, regarding the crusade thing, just number one, you don't want to get into it. They are beings, as far as I can tell, obsessed with the orderly and the ordered and you are not that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Any dealing with them, any business transaction you enter into with them, you should understand to be shackles that you're putting on yourself at a later date.
All right. Good
If
to
you
know.
could warn anybody you interact with of the same,
I'll do what I can. Uh, before you go, you should talk to Blackjack, I think, before you leave. Maybe after your friends step out.
why is that?
He'll want to meet you.
Why?
Because you're a good fucking kid.
Okay. Um h- who who is this person to you?
A really good friend.
Okay. Like a but like a like a friend, how many iterations have you been friends with this person?
I've known him my whole life.
So all of the so like an actual friend.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I need to introduce myself as what, your ward?
No. He knows who you are.
Which would bother you the most? If I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm his kid." Would that you think that would bother you the most, or just like, "Oh yeah, I was his young ward."
No, you should give that a shot. I think you might think it's funny.
Okay, we'll try that then. Do you want another hug or
No, I think I'm good.
okay, like a handshake?
That'd be great.
Hold on, I make myself taller. Yeah.
Okay, you're showing off.
Uh-huh.
He grows like 2 inches.
Yeah, do like an arm clasp handshake up. Glad you're not dead for what it's worth. I didn't assume you were, but I figured I'd probably never see you again, which kind of means just dead eventually.
Yeah. Well, whatever weird fate thing we've got going on where I'm gonna keep bumping into you, I'll take it. It's good to know
Yeah,
you're not dead too.
is this your um is this your permanent residence or the closest you
We live in the attic.
so yeah, we?
Me and him.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, as soon as this place gets hostile, we're out of here.
Okay. Do you have any way of keeping in contact with me?
Uh, fuck. He he looks around at some of the stones and produces a purplish like quartzish stone and says, I'll make some magic happen."
Not all the time, but just, if you get it would be nice to know where I can like visibly deflates see you.
Right.
I do owe you a lot in spite of my bitching and in spite of the issues I have with your character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right back at you, kid.
Okay, just I'll be staying around while Olivius gets this done. You'll see some of the same people you saw when you were spying on me before. Do you want me to go out and immediately introduce myself to your longtime friend?
No. I think you'll appreciate waiting for everyone else to step out.
You want me to wait to talk to your special friend?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I won't be able to talk to your special friend for very long, because we're gonna go run around in the dark in some tunnels and sleep on the ground for a couple days.
That sounds so fucking awful.
It is actually, but you get used to it quicker than you'd think.
I'm gonna take your word for that one. I'm not gonna try my shot at that one myself.
Yeah, I'll like gesture to the gesture to the door and nod as I put my normal face back on.
Okay. Ulvius, what kind of work are you getting done?
Yeah, I'm getting that zone of truth once a day embedded.
All right. Let me check what I put down for my thing for the rules. Okay, yes. So these do use your own spell DC
Mhm.
and spell casting abilities. Zone of Truth, that's a second level spell, right?
It is.
All right, so that will take 2 hours for this process to be completed. Blackjack the Dragonborn is the only person who can do it. So you can be here for a couple of hours while your other friends peruse the offers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what this becomes, these gems and stones specifically that are being like carved, they are like, quite frankly, like subdermal implants that have both like runic magic, that you can see some giant runes marked into them, as well as more familiar arcane sigils that you kind of recognize from like your embroidery and such.
Mhm.
So, while it's kind of a tattoo, not really a tattoo, you get to decide what you want it to be and where you want it to be. But it will be like an object that is inside of you a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I would imagine for a uh zone of truth, embedded runes are probably 3 or 4 small stones behind one of the ears.
Interesting. Neat.
Oh,
It's cool.
Yeah. Is anyone else looking to get any work done?
Now that everybody else is here.
Yeah. And a couple of you recognize the salesman.
Oh yeah, for those of you who saw him before, this is Sal. Yes, that's father figure Sal.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, so that was actually you?
Not really. There's kind of a lot of complicated illusion magic that I'm still getting the hang of.
No, I meant like when we saw you before, that was actually you and not someone else pretending to be you.
Oh yeah, no, I saw all ya.
Oh shit!
I told Hazel I wasn't lying.
Well, I mean, yeah, liars say that all the time, though.
Yeah, he to be fair, he did, but for what it's worth, I believed mostly.
Wild. Very wild. Well, I guess sorry for being very rude and locking you out of the... No, wait, we were in a room.
Now he's peddling special rocks that you can put in your skin and also cast magic with.
yeah,
Yep.
and I don't know if Godric mentioned anything to you, but there's actually one more of these that I've already. Ow, blackjack! Careful. There's one more of these things that are available if anybody's interested. Second level or lower couldn't negotiate for the super powerful ones, and also one token if somebody's interested in a
Is it
one-time
the
only
charm?
casting.
Is it the charm one or the Zone of Truth one that's available?
Technically, it's the second level or lower spell.
Right. Any of
Mhm.
these spells that are second level or lower.
So
there's
shatter, find traps, or blur.
Ooh.
Or Zone of Truth, if you also want Zone of Truth.
and then there's one token. I didn't really negotiate very well since I didn't realize there's not a lot of fourth level stuff on there. So it's basically like one token of fourth level or lower.
Stone Skin, Hypnotic Pattern.
And find traps.
And find traps.
Yeah, that was said already.
Anybody want to have a go? Got one of these. Anyone, please. I don't want to take one of them and it be like someone else wanted it.
You could also, if you wanted, like the negotiation that you've taken, if you wanted to then add some gold in to get something higher level, and just like chunk away at some of the
Credit.
coin. Yeah, I'd allow that.
So
'Cause,
fourth
like,
level
A
equivalent.
mask cure wounds could be really cool.
The
But I have
value of a fourth
absolutely no
level
money.
would be roughly what, like 900 gold, 800 gold, based off the. It seems like fifth level jumps up to 1200, and second level is somewhere closer down to 400.
Mhm.
So 800 or 900 roughly would be like. Or hold on, what level is Stone Skin?
Stone Skin, Charm, 640, and Embedded Charm,
So
832.
yeah, Stone Skin then would be the like 640 gold. In addition to that, to buy you one of the higher ones.
Eh,
Get
no,
it?
I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna say I'm passing. I'm saving room on my face for that cool gold
And
cool gold mask eventually. Fingers crossed.
I
I
think I
will-
missed it. Are these attunement items?
Nope.
Okay, and what's the difference between the token and the embedding?
The token gets used once and then is expent. The embedded token gets once a day use.
Gotcha.
I would gladly. Well, I can't quite get to the embedding for like a mass cure wounds.
I still have 90 platinum.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I want one, but I'm willing to pay for it. So whoever wants one.
Who do we want to be the one who has the mass cure wounds?
Well, see, I already have mass cure wounds.
It's just a matter of casting it.
It's a matter of preparing it.
It comes down to those of us that can't heal inherently. Torque, you have lay on hands technically, right?
I have the Cure Wound spell.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I
I
do
mean,
not have lay on.
I'm already in the chair.
I mean,
Dude, Olvius is just gonna come like pierce the fuck out.
if anybody wants to chip in, I'll take the charm for healing everyone.
How much are you short?
Oh, if I use every last coin that I have, then I'm still short. If we give us credit, 640 plus 700. as I do the real world math.
As much as Find Traps thematically is perfect for Toric, God, it would hurt me to pay even fate currency for that spell.
I am short about 330 gold, and then I will also, after that, have 0 gold.
Okay.
I'll have
I'm
I'm gonna
6
make
gold after that.
things easy on me and
Oh,
miserable on you, and I will hand over 40 platinum. That is 400, so good luck.
Okay, so I have a 70 surplus of gold.
you call that the no gold club.
All right.
What's everybody's money looking like? How are our funds as a
Zilch.
party? Like
Zilch.
actually?
Actual zilch. I
Yeah.
gave all of my money to pay off that one guy's debts.
Yeah,
Dude,
we
operating-
gave up all of our bribery money.
How's Ink's doing on money?
I'm sitting pretty.
What's the total?
I got like 200 gold, 200 platinum.
Whew, damn, dude.
Yeah,
I
turns
haven't
out
had a chance to really spend money on stuff because monk.
Yeah. Also,
turns
Doug, I'm
out
cracking-
operating a super high-end tea house in Luskin not super profitable.
Doug, I'm cracking up because you put your "Be Right Back" in back messages over in Lighthouse franchise, which
Yeah.
hasn't been posted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized that later.
Ha, it's
Why
not
were you
just
even
me,
there?
Cody.
Like,
I don't
the
know
last
why.
post from there was in April.
Okay.
I don't know. It made me
Not
scroll
anymore.
back, and made me scroll back, saw stuff, made me happy.
So I will pay with the credit on the permanent charm plus the gold infusion from Toric.
Mhm.
I'll get and all of my gold except for the stuff that Toric has given me in excess. I will pay for the Mass Cure Wounds charm.
All right, so you got a good 4 hours
Yeah.
in procedure.
Uh-huh.
Isn't it an hour per level and Mass Cure Wounds is 5 hours?
Oh yeah, 5. Apologies. This is the rest of your day.
Yeah, consider this an investment on the odds that this will be used on one of you dying.
Mm-hmm.
It's more efficient than the healer's kits that I bought and
Right.
barely know how to use.
We're sacrificing 5 hours of our head start in this race to make sure we don't hit a wall that
Right.
stops us from winning later on.
Absolutely, yes.
Godric is sweating.
And enjoying it. He hasn't stopped jogging.
Yeah. Okay. 5 hours. That puts us at about evening time, right? Ed is asking.
Yeah, I guess it would, yeah. It occurs to me.
Yeah, that's the rest of your day at least.
Also, we
Should
still
I
get
find-
one charm that we get.
What? You're taking one, and Olbius is taking one. I thought.
Yeah, but we
Olbius
get one
negotiated
that's
2.
not embedded. We get one that of what,
A
second
4th
level?
level or lower token.
I thought it was 2 embeds, or if you wanted to switch an embed, you could get for a token. You could get a higher level token since they are not
Nope.
permanent.
It's 2 embeds and 1 token.
Yeah. The token's just of lower level, I believe.
Tokens of higher level because
got
it's single cast only. So it make it real simple. The 2 embeds are already taken. There's one thing left. It is a token, which is a single casting of a spell of 4th level or lower, if anyone would like it.
Oh, right, because I had to spend all my money.
No takers of a shatter. You
Can-
just throw that rock and it explodes.
Can we do a 4th level shatter?
Huh.
Huh.
I'll
It'd be
allow it.
helpful on the locked door.
I'll allow it. That hasn't backfired for this party before.
Hey, I wasn't there.
I do
a
enjoy
lot
the
of
idea of
a
throwing
lot
a
of
rock
people.
and having it explode.
Really? Because I would think our history with explosives would sort of give you pause.
Nah.
Like Tyler said, he wasn't there for that.
We
Yeah, but I
have
was talking to
owned.
Cody.
Mhm.
We're gonna call this one the lockpick. Blow the door and the whole fucking wall around it.
All right,
Is
Sal can
there-
work on that in the meantime, so you can walk out with the with your uh, rock bomb before Haza is finished.
Who's
You
being
guys,
there-
entrusted with the lockpick?
Psh,
my vote is Torque, to be honest.
Learning real lockpicks for a reason.
Well, it's mostly I think you're the best maybe at like targeting from
The
a
best
distance.
shot?
Yeah, the best shot.
Really? Because you watch Inks throw stuff all the time.
Yeah, but
yeah, but we don't trust Inks.
Inks has a
Also-
different temperament.
I mean, I'm not saying that I want it, but I've won a lot of javelin throws.
So do you want it? Is that
No, I mean,
You sure
I'd
you
love
mean
it. I
shot
would
put?
love to have it.
you do want it?
Yes.
Don't put it in your pocket. Don't put it in your back pocket and forget about it.
You want to see if we can like have him put it in a discus or something?
No, I think I'll be throwing this overhand. I don't want to restrict myself to needing room to swing.
Uh-huh. Also, to be clear on how these work, do we have to like break them and then throw, or do we just throw it? Do we just say a prayer and
Think we're just casting it. So,
That's correct.
yeah. No matter how far I can throw a rock, I do
It's
have to
gonna go
follow
up
the
to
rules
60
of
feet.
the rules of shatter.
Yeah.
On the other hand, imagine if it was wait, what is the range of shatter?
Like
Isn't
a-
that like 60 feet?
hmm
Nice.
Yeah.
Chuck a rock 60 feet.
I know this is taking the better part of our day, but is there time for another second level? I'm paying, so it's I know that
It'll be into the resting time that you guys will require, but you can do that.
I can do that. I'm gonna go get a room.
yeah, do you guys wanna just I'm good here. I can come get you when I'm done, Inks.
okay.
So I'm gonna guess we're planning on setting out in the morning then. I'm not complaining. I need
We
the
tuck
night.
in early. We're gonna have to rest at some point, so might as well get it out of the way.
My thoughts exactly because I'm fucking tired.
Morning is relative. We can go to bed at some earlier arbitrary time and wake up at some earlier arbitrary time.
Yeah, those were words. I'm gonna go get a room.
Yeah, I'll come with.
All right.
I'm
You
gonna
guys
get one for 4 rooms,
Is anybody staying behind?
3 rooms.
I'll stay behind. There's no reason for me leaving. Oh wait, you need to do something, so never mind. I'll leave.
You also need to get ink, don't you? Inks.
Ink? No.
Stoned, whatever. Okay, it was funnier when it was ink and inks, but it's fine.
Sanzi says that she can take you to Grit's tap room, Inks, if you want to go and hang out.
Oh yeah, it's about time I find out that I can't get drunk anymore.
Ooh. The second the last of them exit, as I'm being tattooed, I lean in and say, "Hey, Blackjack."
He looks up at you while without moving his head.
Oh, hold on. I make myself into the changeling. You're gonna want to do it on these dimensions, I guess. It'll take better.
On that, can I borrow you for a second? And Sal kind of like taps him on the shoulder. He gets up and they walk into the back room, and you can hear them talking for a little bit, and you actually hear like the murmuring voice of Blackjack, who hasn't really vocalized much
Mhm.
uh, since you've left, or since you've arrived. And moment passes, um, and when they come back out, there's like actively like tears being like kind of drawn away from their eyes, um and like a tissue like being
His mouth
passed,
is just open.
uh uh and Sal's like, okay, so you're gonna be mad, like I'm just gonna be honest, you're gonna be so angry, and
Who,
then
me?
yeah,
What?
uh um Blackjack in front of you shapeshifts into the smaller, more lithe form of Sal, um and who then says, I'm honestly, that is the worst I've ever felt about any of this
Uh,
ever, and I'm so sorry, kiddo."
I I hate both of you. I hate both of you I had a whole fucking conversation with that one.
Yeah, yeah, I
The
know.
other one should.
I'm real
How many
sorry.
times was I talking to both of you? One of you.
Just
Did one of you just go to the store while the other one stayed home and pretended to be the other one?
I'm listen. I feel
Have-
bad. We
When
feel
did I
bad.
meet you? When did I meet you?
I mean, you know me. The one
You.
who has just shifted, is like
Yeah,
gesturing to himself.
I know you.
Yeah. Um.
I
So
gave that
this.
one a hug.
Uh huh. Yeah. Don't worry. We're cool. We're good.
I don't
I
know
know you're.
him.
Well, you do
Them?
a little bit, mostly.
Who?
Sorry.
I know him now.
Yeah.
Did you just leave sometimes and you left them there and I wouldn't know?
Well, yeah.
You know I suck at this whole thing. I'm bad at
Well,
it.
yeah. Clearly, you didn't know.
I'm
I'm sorry.
bad at
I'm
it. I didn't
sorry.
even
Haza, I'm sorry.
What was the crying about?
I just.
I don't even remember which of you was crying.
Uh, he raises his hand again.
You. What?
I,
Crying because you didn't get a hug?
I, I mean,
Did
he
you
said
want
it. You know, I miss you. I
did you
really
want a
do
hug?
miss you.
That one was
Yeah,
all
but
weird
it's okay
about
if
the
you don't
hug.
want to,
No,
because I realize that you're kind of dealing with a lot.
that one
And
was weird about the hug. I'll
uh
give you the hug and I'll repeat everything that I said to that one to you and we'll just pretend that them.
the second one says, I mean, I already kind of passed it along. If you
Okay,
don't want to
what the
go
fuck
through
is
it
your
again,
name?
I just call me Sal. It's easier.
What's your name?
It's listen, kid.
You're
Like
both
it's
Sal now.
uh-huh.
Have you always been?
Only like the past maybe 8 years, I think.
Okay, so right around when I left, then
Yeah.
your special friend is yourself, is what you're saying.
I don't like how you phrased it,
Yeah,
but
I imagined you wouldn't, which is why I said it.
I mean, it would it make you feel better if I said that I was lonely? Cause that's true.
Okay, that would make yes. That's an acceptable. That humanizes you.
Okay, well, I
Mhm.
mean, I missed you. I mean, you were definitely gonna get me killed, but
Well, probably not killed,
I mean,
like imprisoned.
yeah, but I mean, you mentioned the doppelgangers. All of that
Yeah.
pretty messy. So,
Yeah, they're real, by the way. I don't know if that was obvious to, as I guess I suck at this, but I just assumed that was like what they said we were, but weren't, right?
uh-huh.
Uh huh.
Okay, we
Also,
can.
I found out I'm not from the. I'm one of the ones that's not from this plane.
Oh,
Mhm.
like do you remember or?
Not really. Well, kind of. Not really. No.
Did they like fuck with your memory?
I guess probably. Well, probably yes, they did.
I don't have anything for that.
Yeah,
But
don't worry about it. Just so you know that is not a also not a rumor thing for when you
okay.
talk to others like us, since you managed to meet at least one other's person like us.
Well, we've got a couple more hours of this. If there's any other things we want to talk about, well, we'll be a little bit more transparent.
Yeah, I'll give you the broad strokes, if only because some of it isn't really mine to tell necessarily. Guess
All
you
right.
probably do the same.
Yeah, the two of them talk a little bit about like this persona in persona. Um,
Uh-huh. It's fucking 3 deep layer fucking human shell game.
and it comes out that like I mean honestly like you being so honest in the back room like they hadn't planned on
Uh-huh.
talk going through it all with you but honestly felt pretty bad about the vulnerability um and you can what do you want to describe to them?
uh I'll relay to Sal Prime. Everything that I relayed to Sal second. In terms of like the crusade stuff. I'll give them like a very brief overview of like what happened after I ran away from the sorry, after I was sent away from the city. Uh and like kind of gloss over then to the like what my adventures have been, omitting quite a lot of stuff that involved a lot of the stuff is relative to like, Hyacinth and Hyacinth's ongoing mission, so a lot of that just gets left out.
Mhm.
So it ends up mostly being a lot of like, oh, and then we killed this or fought this, devoid of the context for why we would have been there.
Okay, all right. The space is respected, I think. Uh,
Yeah, like it's clear that she is tap dancing around certain things.
uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, they're especially after what they just put you through, they're not gonna
Yeah.
pry too hard. Um, and at the conclusion of the grafting, you are gifted that while one of them is working on you, the other one is working on this little stone, this amethyst that is smooth and polished, except for the circular marks placed upon it. That is mirrored on another stone as well. Um, and the two of them show that they each have one already, uh, and this is just how they've been able to check in with one another to make sure that they're not dying. They just run their thumbs over the runes, and the stone, like in connection, is like warmed to the touch and changes in color, um, and demonstrate to you how to do the same. So anytime you wish to signal to them that you are alive and well, you can. And if either of them do so for each other, you are also in on that loop.
Okay. As I take it, I'll say, uh, it it's probably going to be more frequent than you think, because as far as like life-threatening incidents I've been in, as a fraction of the amount of time, the incidence rate has gone up a little bit.
Okay. Well, We'll stay in touch.
Also, I understand this is more of a secondary thing. How did you which of you learned how to make magic into rocks?
The first one, that you know that you knew longer. It
What
was a lot of travel, a lot of learning.
so were you taught or did you discover it?
A little bit of both. Um, there were some folks who trade in runes were like on the cusp of something, and did some studying, met some other people, and met some powerful people even, and it started coming together.
Is having one of these and showing it going to give someone an impression I need to be aware of?
I don't think so. I don't think I've burned any bridges.
I mean, positive or negative, just to know that the second there's a section of people out there that if we were to somehow run into them, they would see that and have a thought in their head about it.
There's mages, uh, that have, I mean, actually traveled into the Fae a few times, that might recognize it. And if they do, I mean, I don't think it'll do you any harm.
So this is this directly Fey related?
About what would you say? About a fourth? Yeah, yeah, about that fourth. I mean, it's a place where magic literally flows like water if you can
Right.
find it. So it's a pretty good resource. I've got some extra on hand if you just want it,
Extra what?
like magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I. One of them ducks into the back and pulls out a wine bottle that is emptied but then refilled like an inch within with something that is glowing from the dark glass.
What does this do?
I mean, you can drink it and find out.
Drink it and find. That's what you have for me is drink it and find out.
The both of them kind of laugh. It'll if you have any other skills, if you have any other training, it just gives you a little kick.
For how long?
Until it's used. Um, what will happen is if you use this like a potion, and here with the volume that you have, I'll say you have two uses. Any spell that you cast following within the day will automatically be upcast by a single level.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I will like swish it around just to just to look at like weird. I assume it's not like viscous, right?
It's actually it doesn't even feel when you swirl it that there is weight like
Yeah.
liquid inside of it.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for this. I'll point to. I think it's just like on the upper arm is just like a circle of little pebbles for the mass cure wounds.
All right.
Full on like a
A
fucking
little
military
fairy
tattoo.
circle?
Yeah, like a military tattoo, but a little fairy circle. Uh, I will reach forward to hug Sal Prime. As I'm doing it, I turn to look at the second one and like just get a little bit larger and like reach up the second arm out, like, come on.
Yeah, they both hug you. The embraces feel different, but they both do.
Oh, and by the way, I'm a lieutenant in an potentially Archphase army, and I have a legion under me, and I'm gonna head out now. See ya. As I turn and walk out. I'll let Inks know you said to come in.
All right, we will take our 15-minute break and come back at 25 after the hour.
Hell yeah.
Haza can come get you for your token embedment. Have you thought about what you want it to look like or where you want it?
Yeah. I'm going straight up fuckboy basic bitch right now. And I am
Like,
going to get I'm gonna get 2 armbands, same size on my forearm. Um, but the negative space is gonna be like the runes for the casting of magic.
cool. All right. Haza, were you gonna say anything in passing or?
Well, I think it's probably I go and ask someone like, "Have you seen the group of the weirdest assortment of people and which tavern they went to?" And I go to them then and be like, "Wait, where's Inks?" Just wait for Inks to like find her way back.
hmm
Oh, because I said I'd wait there for you. I feel like we would have told him where we're at though.
Yeah, yeah, it won't be hard
Okay.
to. There's not a lot of establishments here, so. All right.
Yeah, nothing special. Just they're ready for you, Inks.
Cool. Yeah, you can go get those installations. Um, da, da, da. Okay, and that brings you pretty late into the night. Mel, where are you going? What are you doing?
I don't know. I'd probably say that Mel just kind of goes back to the chapel and like asks, "Hey, can I stay with you guys?"
You have the acolyte background, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Even though even if they wouldn't, like they would allow give you some space here, in their like bunk bed barrack space that they have in the in the back.
The memories.
Honestly, you're coming home.
Yeah, exactly.
hmm These little into the wall dugouts that like are smooth and not unpleasant to sleep on, honestly.
Yeah. Mel's just gonna kick back there.
All right. Torek, where are you headed? What are you doing?
Torek is doing exactly what he said he planned on doing, and going to ask around to try to find a place to stay. I think we stayed here once when we were waiting for resing the wizard whose name I totally wrote down. The one
Dwayne?
we win. That's it.
Yeah.
So I will just head back to wherever we stayed then.
All right. I think you either so there are three places you can stay. There's the Half Moon Inn with Danwick, the halfling that you saved.
Yeah.
There is common like dugout spaces in the market that are like in the cavern walls that are free rent like free spaces to crash if you can find a hovel. And I think actually a few of you had actually just kind of crashed around the chapel's room. Uh,
I will head back to Danwick's then.
okay. You'll probably eventually intersect with Inks and Sanzi who are drinking, and Danwick who is awake and serving anyone who is still awake. Is happy to see you and offers you rooms for free, lodging for free.
Oh, I was gonna say we're gonna probably need like 3 shared rooms at least.
Oh, that's a lot, but I mean, you guys did save my life and did put me back on a payment plan track, so we'll be okay. Yeah, just here, have some keys. Have some keys.
That's so cute.
Anything else you take care of for the night?
Um, no. No, I think Torek is exhausted. He will muck around in that one casket that he has already opened, just seeing if like what sort of thing he can possibly understand about this. I will even take the time to cast to reach out to Asgaroth, Lord of Everything, and where's my spell list? I will borrow knowledge I will borrow some arcana knowledge as
Okay.
I look into these things.
Cool.
Okay. All right. In that case, why don't you roll me an Arcana check with proficiency?
I don't feel good about that. I'm spend an inspiration.
Okay.
Suddenly I feel okay about that.
Oh God,
Oh.
Asgaroth giveth and taketh away.
Seriously. 7. 7. Well, okay.
um, I will say, that while you may not be able to identify like what this is, um, I will give you the information that if you use this as a crafting utility, for your weapons, this will be like the closest to raw magical energy that exists and will deal force damage.
Ooh.
Like emblematically, it's force damage, but like as you're kind of tinkering around and trying to get it, like your conclusion is this is just going to be an explosion of power, which will manifest as force damage.
Got it.
Hmm. Is that good enough for you?
That works for me.
All right. Something learned, something practical, and then you can go to bed.
Yep. Yep. I
Curl
know
up
that
in a
Godric's
weasel.
going to be getting us up early, so I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
Godric's in the corner of the half moon inn writing out an itinerary.
Agenda 0400. Wake up.
Yeah, yeah. What is Godric doing?
That's it. I mean, he is planning and then going to bed.
Any other night rituals or anything happening?
Um, he eats a good bit, very energetically, and then goes to bed early.
Is that the Tyler part of the character leaking in? All right then, Ulvius, how are you spending your evening?
Um, yeah, Ulvius is probably just doing a little sewing, drinking a little tea, and rubbing behind his left ear as it is now rather uncomfortable, which he was not counting on.
As you continue to do that, you can't help but like think constantly
Mhm.
about like you keep touching it, it's gonna get infected, and then find yourself touching it a few minutes later.
Yeah, of course. My unseen servant is folding clothes and tidying up for me.
All right. Okay then. It sounds like everyone is finding their way to rest. Any last minute thoughts or shared conversations before sleeping?
I will ask Olvius for some tea and then read my self-help book. Like, no conversations, just
Yeah,
it's rare to
certainly.
have a moment. Does yours itch?
Yeah, it's I thought given that it was magic, it would be a lot more comfortable than this, but apparently implanting things in the skin not um designed for long-term comfort. Who knew?
I've been fighting the urge to pick at it.
Oh, don't do that.
I haven't yet, but now that you said it,
Yeah, it's one of those ideas that once it gets in your mind, it's sort of hard to get it out of there. I know a thing or two about those.
is there tea for that?
I'm pretty sure all tea is for exactly that.
I like pound some scalding tea down and hold the cup out.
Well, it works better when you sip it, but sure, you do you. And I'll pour him
Sip.
another glass.
Now sip the next one.
All right. Everyone can complete a long rest and get up. I presume when Godric is making everyone get up.
Drill sergeanting.
Yeah, I'll sleep in
Certainly not
because
so like aggressive as that, but
There's a
very
smile.
like encouraging, you know.
it's really
A
funny.
lot of platitudes, is that the word? A lot of like, early worm gets the something, etc.
Early worm gets the something. Yeah.
All right. Well, then you can all shuffle together in your various states of possible exhaustion, given how fraught your nights have been. Uh, what's up, gang? What you doing?
All right, if we set off now and minimum restroom breaks, we set a standard pace. We should be able to get back by this time.
Do you want to lead from the front or the back?
The back.
Yeah, I guess Torque and Pekareva kind of have the finding the way thing down.
Okay. I won't move you to the travel map yet, I think, because I don't think you're gonna need it, since you have cleared the way pretty extensively on your way through in the first round. You find once again the remnants of things you have killed in your path, and with fewer creatures impeding your travel, moving this way and with direction is much easier. Um, Once again, hit some familiar landmarks, the corpses of the rest monsters, the myconids, and and eventually the hold. I should have cleaned that map. Hold of the tyrants. I don't think you guys like locked anything down or anything. Like you guys can just walk back in. It's not been so long that other invaders have found their way here. So, what's
Home
up?
sweet home.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be back.
Mhm.
All right. All the corpses everywhere. The illithid are like rotting at a spectacular pace.
Good.
Gang, which way you taking?
Mel's heading towards the bridge to the other building because that's where we kind of stopped. We
Mm-hmm.
reached there and can't turn back.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and she'll just wait at the bridge for everyone to sort of form up.
Okay. I'm assuming everyone is following. Is anyone doing anything besides that?
Don't think so.
Okay. All right, Godric, you cross the bridge. You lean over or walk across the black chasm, where somewhere down there is the remains of crusaders.
Sorry. When we were on our way here, could when we were at the mine, not Minok, Myconid area where we fought the rust monsters, is that orc's body still there?
Very little of it, as other creatures have come through and started eating the meat of it.
Ugh. Okay. I will. If I can, I will dig a hole to hold it temporarily.
Okay, I'll let you do that since you can do that with magic.
That's
Just a hole or covering it?
yeah, covering. I want to stop it from getting eaten.
Okay, cool.
I figure when on our way back, we might be able to. We might want to bring it back to the tower.
Can do. All right. Inks and Godric have once again returned to the parapets, the battlements, and are faced once again with that external door leading into the uh, last bit of the building that you feel like you have yet to see. Uh, and as you may recall, it is locked, but not with a key. It is barred from the inside.
Do we need to, I don't know, fly around?
And can we break it down?
Does blight do anything to metal?
No.
No, it doesn't. Damn it.
Although I think these doors are
Still
made of
got that
wood.
crowbar.
Oh, are they?
I mean, at least partially.
What is barred from the inside, but you take a
How
crowbar out.
much of it?
I would think that they're like. I mean, if you wanted to cast blight on this, I think it would be enough to do damage to the door.
Yeah, I'll cast blight on it.
I'll let you
Absolutely.
I'll let you cast that leveled spell on a door. That's
As
fine.
you're talking and you just step forward and fire a beam of eldritch horror at the door.
She just goes up and gently just holds the door and it just begins smoking a little bit. Just ash starts coming off of it.
Yeah, the wood of it that is mostly like structural, just begins to drop and clatter to the ground and fall to pieces in ash. And the metal frame of the door seems useless now. You can actually see the wooden bar through the remains of the wood.
Well,
Yeah, or that works.
yeah, I wouldn't have thought of it, I guess. Just rot the door, but I'll note that as an option.
Mel smiles.
Should we
Her-
be breathing this in?
she turns away and just like undoes the bar comedically from
It
the broken frame
smells kind of weird.
and pushes the frame open.
Incredible. That saved us at least 15 minutes.
The cycle is nothing but efficient.
Okay, well now that we've killed the door,
The room beyond is filled with rubble, as part of this roof appears to have come down and littered the floor. Um, there is a broken statue once again. This one has not been like recarved but has the hooved legs of a minotaur as like kind of the only remaining facet of its structure that is recognizable. Um, and then broken statue pieces uh, cast around. Feel free to look around if you'd like.
Yeah,
Feel
I'm
free
not
to
going in
enter the
first.
room.
It's been real bad for me in the past.
All right, if no one else would. Does this statue look like it had some sort of religious significance, or is this just like a cool, fun chamber?
This looks like it could have been an altar.
Can I recognize a god?
I
Sure.
was going to ask the same.
Yeah, toss me a low DC religion check.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Not
Jesus
that low.
Christ. Yeah, not that.
Thanks, Torek.
um, the hooved gods are few, and technically not really a god, but religious figures supposedly. Um, as you're sort of examining both the statue and the dais it was resting upon, some of the remains of sacrifice stain into the stonework and and indicate to Toric worship of Bahamut. Or
Baphomet?
Baphomet. Jesus Christ. Hey, D&D, why?
Just slight difference.
Yep. And I was even trying to think so hard about it, particularly for your character, and I still fucked it up.
This kind of tracks with the rest of this place, though. Baphomet, god of minotaurs, and all sorts of other nasty things. Minotaur made area,
Checks out.
So is there like a hole in the ceiling of this room, or is there just rock? Like the ceiling has collapsed and the unworked stone is behind it.
So from what you are like looking up on the northern quote unquote part of the building, which you could see from the outside as you had like come through the cavern, there is still some roof, but on the like southern section, um, there has been some roof collapse. So there's a lot of like rubble and stone that has just fallen through the roof and ceiling.
And it's like open to the sky. Or rather, the rest of the
Cavern.
cave.
Yeah,
Cavern.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Wonder if I could climb up there.
I mean, if
Get
you
up
think
on
it's
the
worth
roof,
it,
look around.
I could take a few of us up.
No. Oh,
Can I inspect
Max,
this
I'm stuck in a
altar for
wall.
I watched it happen too. That was incredible. I watched you like shift over one space and then, oh,
I want to examine the altar slash statue for anything tricky, sneaky, any hidden switches or anything like that.
Okay. And
Also,
Olvius is
just
also.
yeah, I'm see everyone poking around, so I'm casting detect magic, not as a ritual, just standard
Okay.
casting.
Let's see, 1 foot of stone. You see pieces of auras being like poking through some of the rubble that is in this farthest corner of the room, Olvius.
Okay.
And yeah, make me an
Right.
investigation check, Mel.
16.
Okay. you're sort of looking around for something that's maybe a little bit more mechanical, but just being as close as you are, you see a couple of interesting things. Very clearly, you see like blood stain, um, but amidst that blood stain, like that is red. Uh, there is also patches of it that like glimmers faintly. Oh, also, Ulvius also can see the glimmer as well as an aura of magic, um, in like spots amongst this blood, like again very old and like under layers of dust. Um, just this little bit of like light.
Huh.
Ulvius will point the 2 locations out to everyone.
Okay.
Time to start digging.
Looks like it, unless we want to mess with blood magic.
I guess it's not my preferred. Is it the blood itself that's magical, or
Well, parts of it are, it looks like, I guess.
Yeah, I think the way it's being
So
described, the
ones
blood is
might have
covering.
been. Yeah.
Yeah, the blood in the stone is covering whatever is magic, and the fact that this stone has deteriorated is what's allowing the auras to sort of bleed through. Does that sound about right, Max?
Um, I'll say for the altar, you're seeing effectively like there is something. The blood has been splashed and spilt here. There has also been something else that has been splashed and spilt here that is not blood.
Ah. Interesting.
I, I mean, I think it's worth looking into the altar. I guess it's gonna take us a second to clear out the rubble over here.
Yeah, let's focus on that first.
I can deal with that.
Start digging.
Mold
Hello?
earth instead.
There we go.
True.
It's loose currently, so.
Way more efficient.
All right. Okay. You begin shifting that stone and dirt and filth away, and Toric, as you do so and kind of drag it out into the common room, Ulvius, you see the aura growing brighter and brighter until you see under the rubble there is a collection of rather fairly beaten but potentially still usable or salvageable, like suits of armor that had been on display that have been like tipped over. There is some weapons. Some of them are, most of them are made of steel. Many of them are painted red. That has faded significantly with time. Um, and there is also a a shimmering dark, like but very thin cloak, as well as something small, like tangled up in that cloak.
Do you think this stuff is safe to touch, or should we, like, shift it around with a stick?
I
This
want to
has
see
been
what's
here
up with the
for
cloak.
years and years, so I imagine it's
I'm
safe
gonna
by now.
touch it.
All right. You pick up the cloak, and it sort of flows through your hands like a liquid, in a very pleasant way. It sparkles as it does so too. It's almost black, but you see the beauty of the blue within it as it falls through your fingers, and the weight of it is caught on a brooch affixed to it. Um, that appears to be two hands carved of wood with at their wrists and holding the open cloak clasped together.
Is there
Oh,
any religious symbolism for that, or is it more like a magical thing?
Do you touch it?
Yes, I
Okay.
do touch it.
When you do, you are like struck with a feeling that is maybe a little bit foreign to Mel, which is that of specifically longing. Um, and on contact, you are like flooded with a memory of that is not yours, certainly, um, but of like watching someone stalk through the forests and hunt and like harvest from the woods, and you feel like this connection and pull to this person, this interest and curiosity that evolves into like very tender feelings as time progresses. You see like changes in this person as they begin to age, um, and then there is briefly like the flashing and intense memories of witnessing this person struggle in a horrible fight with an owl bear that just mauls them, and you feel your hand like reaching out for them to try to save them, and feel like the impact of hands clasping together before that memory just ends, and like that vision is dispelled. That is so foreign to any portent you have ever experienced before, um, in like every conceivable way.
I think Mel like picks up the cloak and like runs it through her fingers, and while she's getting the vision, like her fists are clenching tighter and tighter, and like at some point she just starts crying until she snaps out of it.
uh, number one, that's the thing I saw. Number two, are you good?
uh, I think I have a lot to think about. But if it would be okay with everyone, and if this doesn't end up being the important artifact
It
that we should probably,
it it is.
huh?
The clasped hands are the same, I think. So whether it's the
Wait.
cloak or the the brooch,
Oh, that's what those. Wait, how do you know the mushroom people?
the mushrooms, they gave me a
Got it.
picture. I'm inferring that this is the same, right? Because I was given just two things clasped with the wrists broken off.
Yeah, this is definitely
Yeah.
one and the same.
Yeah. Like I didn't get a sense for size, right? I just had the shape, the very clear shape of it.
hmm hmm
But yeah,
and
I
and this is pretty moderate. It's probably about like it's a brooch, but it's also a clasp, so it's probably
okay.
about 4 inches across.
Mhm. Yeah, that's definitely it. At least when I should backtrack slightly. When I asked about a Fey relic of the Myconids, this is what they told me. That thing.
Well, I guess she'll she'll sort of look down, and tears will start to well up, and just give it to Haza.
What happened?
I I saw something. Or felt something. It was strange. Good and horrible.
I like
But
take it by the cloth, like it is for just from touching it.
yeah.
Is it the cloak or the thing?
You could try both, I guess.
Yeah, I'll, like since I like grabbed it by like the cloak part first, I'll like run my hands like ungauntleted hands along it.
Okay. Yeah, the fabric is, I mean, pleasant to the touch.
Oh.
Mm.
I'll touch the brooch.
Okay. When you do, you see like these again foreign memories of someone who is traversing a foreign wood that is alight with mystic wonders and creatures, the likes of which you have never seen. And very importantly, prominently in the memory is the vision of um, a beautiful fairy woman with long green hair and wings in the shapes of butterfly fold, like butterfly wings, um, like literally ripped from a fairy tale in your mind, and this person having like a kind interaction and this fey creature interacting with you in strange ways and in odd language, and in like body language in a way that you are not familiar with, and the like pursuit of like survival in this forest while being followed by this creature, and knowing in some capacity that there is safety with this person, um uh until there isn't. You do not have like that horrible uh memory of the attack, but you have instead like a memory of lying and feeling broken, bodily hurt in a way unlike you have really ever experienced, and feeling someone's fingers lace between yours, and then your body turning to warmth, and stillness, and seeing your own hands turn at the touch of this person into tree bark, and like welcoming the sensation of reprieve, as this person turns you and themselves into something woodland and more eternal than your mortal form would really hold.
Yeah, I think from the outside, like Haza seizes up. When it gets towards the end, like the sword appears in her hand, or like appears in like her open hand, and then just drops it as it like clatters to the ground as it turns into like the warmth part. Uh, yeah, she like kind of snaps to and says, "Uh, uh,
Yeah, something like that.
who- did you see the butterfly woman?
No. We must have had different visions, I guess.
There was the butterfly woman who watched over whoever I was in whoever that was, and then I got hurt. Or they got hurt, died, and then hands like holding out the cloak at like an arm's length to make the hands visible, but to clearly not touch them anymore. Hands as they turned to to wood, maybe. Anyone else want to watch a life? Uh, it's really something.
Oh,
Sanzi
would you
kind of shuffles near to Inks and just, I think that's it.
Yeah,
would,
I think so too. Hazel said as much.
would you like me to try and get a more specific sense of what it is?
Yeah, just be it- be careful with the brooch because then I don't think you get a choice in seeing the story. It's not bad. It's just a lot. It's big.
Hmm.
Yeah, Mel realizes that this is probably going to be a process that everyone takes turns on, so she just sort of throws down Corpse Slayer, just drops it and has a sit, takes off her glasses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ovius will take it and spend 11 minutes with it to ritually cast Identify.
Okay. You become acquainted with the lover's hands. And as you do so with this ritual, you kind of see the expanse of this
Hmm.
story between these two people. Um, uh, a a a wandering woods person who fell into the Feywild and tried to eke out a survival there, under close observation of a sprite who found them particularly interesting, and eventually had like true and genuine fondness for them. And in a moment of unexpected vulnerability, there was just a horrible moment of sad mortality, where it was nearly the case, where the woods person's life was entirely forfeit at the hands of an owl bear. And you see the sprite channeling what magic she had of the world around her to immortalize the two of them. um, and what remains of the two of them is effectively in your hands. This is an attunement item. Um, Attuning to the lover's hands is an act of care. A creature can attune to this item and bestow it to a wearer. For all times that the wearer bears the lover's hands, any saving throw that they have to make will be rolled using the attuned statistics and modifiers. In addition, the attuned can also use an action to remove any condition from the wearer if they take on the condition themselves. Removing multiple conditions requires one action per condition, and I'm adding that to a handout for everybody.
Ovius will explain that to everyone.
So, Mel, you saw her perspective?
Yeah,
I saw his.
And
yeah.
this is definitely the item that we're looking for.
Yep.
Huh. Well, well done, everybody, and nice job on the itinerary, Godric.
Well, we've still got to get out of here to avoid the conflict. So,
We should probably do that quickly.
Well, okay. First, uh, the statue and the other armor and weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can forget the statue and just take the stuff.
Ovius will investigate anything else that's given off a magic aura.
All right. There is this set of scale mail and shield, longsword, and halberd, which are all +1, and just kind of I was gonna say infernally marked. They're clearly artifacts of the previous um, crafters of this place. and possibly ceremonial. The cloak just gives you a swim speed equal to your walking speed if you were to attune to it as well. Um, believe that is all that you find of value.
Can I try to carve some of the stone around the shinies a little bit?
Do you have tools for that?
Certainly not.
Okay, then you can try and
I
find
do.
little success.
Yeah, if I if I start hacking at it, at some point I'm definitely going to stop before I destroy the whole fucking thing.
Okay.
What are you trying to open? I got a mining
Well-
pick. I got a shovel.
The 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 shinies in there point at the statue of the bull.
Wait,
When I left the Sal's shop, they gave me. She like reaches and holds up the like flask of not liquid.
Yeah, it is glowing in. Though no one, I believe, currently has detect magic up. The little bit of light that you can see reflectant in the splashing on the altar is very similar to the white and yellow light coming from the bottle. Sort of obscured though in the dark glass.
Looked similar to that. Worth checking out, I guess.
I got a mining pick. Can do.
Yeah, you can take a few minutes and chisel that out.
While he is doing that, so what's our plan? Are we just turning around? There's this door right here.
Oh,
Are
shit.
we gonna go look for Indexius? Are we gonna just?
I mean, we
I mean,
should
I know Sanchi,
probably.
you probably want to go back with this thing. Wait, hold on. What are we doing with this thing?
I
Like we came out here because Sansi was looking for stuff, but no offense intended, Sansi, but I think this might be a little out of your pay grade.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of inclined to believe you.
It's
I
it's
mean,
just that the last time we ran into one of these, I mean, we've run into a couple of these. One made a house into a murder house. That was sure a thing that happened.
yeah.
The other one got some people. No, wait, that was the same one. The one that made a murder house also got some people killed. It's bad news. There's somebody after these things, so if you've got it, you're kind of at risk.
She gives Inks a look, but kind of nods in understanding.
So, what do we do with it?
Well, I mean, right now we don't have many choices. It's take it with us or leave it here. So I
Yeah.
think the
Oh
choice
yeah,
is
yeah.
we take it with us and perhaps
I just
engage in this conversation when we are in a little safer confines. But I
mean,
do think
we
that
got time.
Torek,
I'm chipping away here.
very well. You say it's sought
What?
after. We could probably get a pretty penny for it.
True.
Grump
But
would be
like
able to.
seriously, are we gonna go through this door when we're done here?
I think we should.
Gesturing at the.
We're already here, and now
Statue.
we need to finish this up, right? And if we leave and we find out there was one more thing behind that door there, I'm not walking back down here. I mean, I would. I would walk. I would walk back down here, but I wouldn't like it.
Sounds decided.
Not yet.
Oh,
As like Torg is in mid swing.
Not
Uh,
yet.
good
Door gets
news,
kicked
you just
down.
see another this one actually under way less like damage. There's another Baphomet statue on the end of at the end of this hall. Lots of dust and cobwebs in here, but no structural damage to the the hallway.
Can we agree on like a code word for open the door now?
I mean, what were we waiting for?
me.
Also, is there a reason we need to come up with the code for that? How about just
No.
don't open the door now?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, language is just a code that we all know and use to communicate.
Uh-huh. You're right. You're right.
My nephews and I came up with our own code. We have our own little language. A lot of fun. You should try it sometime.
This has got to be the like wildest vibe in this room.
Mel is still crying quietly.
Anybody else want to touch the brooch?
I would like
Absolutely,
to
but not right
again.
now.
I think
Can I just hold it?
inferring from maybe the difference in me and Mel, if most of you touch it, I suspect you're going to have a deep feeling of loss and sadness as opposed to your own mortality, which is better, I think.
Oh yeah, sign me the
Yeah,
fuck up.
you're
Oh
really
Yeah.
god,
smelling
I
it there.
can't wait.
I experienced like a little bit of death or maybe just brokenness for a second. The after part was kind of nice,
Is
contextually.
it you need some real help unpacking that, and none of us here are
There is
qualified.
just that is
All
not
right,
even
I'm through
top
this
3
statue.
on the list.
All right, the
Can-
door's open. Let's go.
Okay, what's there to get from the statue?
All right. You got some rock. Inks, are
Uh,
you going into that room?
Oh, I'm not going first. No, I have terrible history with that here.
I guess Torque just palm that rock and then we could probably take it to the professionals since we might be headed back that way. The purveyors of special magic rocks.
You joke, but that's a thing.
I'm joking more about them than about the thing, but point taken.
Very carefully brushing the dust off of the rocks. They don't understand. They don't understand.
It tingles when you put your hand on it.
Does anybody want that shield?
Sounds like you can take it.
Yeah, I'll put the old shield in its strap. Pick up the new one.
Okay.
As interested as I am in a cool shield, I need mine that flies. So
Yeah, yours is already a very cool shield.
And
What do we do with the rest of
didn't
this?
well, I mean, are you comfortable using a shield that has infernal ties? Isn't that what you said, Max? They all have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all iconography, which like you probably could either hammer out or scrape off, but like that is currently what you're dealing with.
Torque, you think you could deface it?
Do you want it to be functional at the end?
Yeah, but not
Aw,
pretty.
oh, come on, Haza. The lettering's just so nice.
What is it? Do you know what it says?
Yes. She looks at you like you're dumb.
Okay, I'll ask later. Who's going through the door?
I'll stare at Godric.
Godric is through the door.
Don't forget to throw your shield up, make it spin or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, and I'll do that.
Okay.
It lasts for a minute.
Okay. All right. So you're walking into this room. You see the intact statue on the end of this hall. Um, and actually in this room here, the decrepit, uh, no longer rotting, but absolutely befouled carcasses of sacrifices who have been piled in this room. Near
Gross.
the top is one such skeleton that has some very interesting um clothing still kind of remaining. A lot of these are just kind of what's the word? What's it- Common clothes. But this person was in nicer robes that have faded to green, but faded from green and had yellow embroidery.
I'll take a closer look at cool clothes guy.
Okay, what kind of
I don't know. I'm gonna check his clothes and see if they might be valuable. I'm gonna see if there's any notes or gold on it. I don't know. I'm just
Okay,
looking at him.
all right. Uh, in that case, make me an investigation check.
That's a 5.
Okay. You do notice the floral embroidery is all of twisting ivy and in yellow on green fabric, which is interesting and frankly expensive. But that's kind of it.
I take a moment to just appreciate this guy's sense of style, and then I will head back out of the room and go and gesture towards the door next to Toric.
Thoric will move out of the way.
All right.
All right. You see a very dusty and unused passageway with stairways going down.
Got staircases downward, lowering,
Mhm.
downstairs,
And a
and a
locked door.
locked door.
All right, hold on.
Shimmy behind Inks.
Perfect.
Obvious jump scare.
Yeah, from our perspective, the door closed, and when it opened back up, Olbius was next to us.
All right, Inks. You can feel the ancient rust kind of almost freezing this lock, but you're able to get it to give.
Hazel, can I open this door, please?
Yeah, scream if something bad happens. Prioritize that.
It's all good. It's just the prison chamber that we've been in before.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense.
You did it. You looped
Again.
again.
So we officially scoped the whole place. It's
We
done.
did it. Now we can maybe go back and check out the Chamber of Eyes.
Fuck that. What? Have you been turned to stone? I've been turned to stone, and it didn't feel like a lot when it was done, but it felt really bad while it was happening.
I'm sorry if that was insensitive. I just mean that we're still searching the labyrinth for the portal. So that's
Well,
the other path that we can follow, the other direction we've been given.
well, we don't need to search for the portal. We know where it is. Well, we don't know where it is, but we have an
We know
escort
people
there.
who know where it is that won't
Yes.
show us where it is.
They said that they would escort us next time they went to check on it.
Okay.
Yeah. I also don't know how in our pay grade that particular adventure is. We could just take the Fey artifact that we need to, I don't know, what? Do we contact Hyacinth? Do we give it back to. We give it back to somebody so the world doesn't end or something.
I mean, we don't know if this one is on the same level.
Yeah.
The story itself seemed much smaller in scale, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess we can just
This
hang on to it and keep it safe until we, you know,
know what to
figure out
do
what
with
to do
it.
with it.
Yeah, I can't think of uh, like who would. Does anybody feel like using it?
I would like to hold on to it if that's okay. If nobody's going to be using it.
Real quick,
Have
in
we gotten
support
a
of
handout
Godric's
for it yet?
plan, um, in support of Godric's plan, that Underick is still out there. It occurred to me that if we go back towards town, we could ask Trogrot. Well, I say we. Mel could ask Trogrot what they knew while they were alive. Maybe get a sense of, I don't know, where we're of what's down there exactly. Like I don't know if that's
Mm,
the way you went looking for Underick at first. There's also Underick's apprentice apparently somewhere out looking for him. So
I
I don't know.
mean, it's
Might be good to get on with the Baxium tower. You know.
if we're on the way, I guess, it's just magical expenditure, right? To at least get a lead and then decide then if we want to do something with that.
Sure.
Do we have any way of sealing this place up?
I guess the lockpick could also cause a little rock slide or something, but
Best I could think is I can stay back and then bar the door and then fly around. The front door, I guess.
I
There's a
mean,
lot of
you saw
there's
the
a
mind
couple doors in and
flayers.
out.
They flew.
Yeah, they did float through the wall.
Yeah, it's mostly for anyone else.
Why?
yeah, I mean, there's nothing in here
If
to keep hidden anymore. So.
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess so.
if something dangerous moves in here, that just means that the mind flayers will have a hard time getting it back.
I was thinking
Something
more about like
definitely will move in here. I mean, this is the Underdark. And this is a. Is this considered the Underdark, Max, or are we just in the
Yeah.
underground? Okay,
does
yeah.
anyone mind if I tell the Myconids to just move in here? That
Actually, yeah, that's right.
I kind of
Don't see
I
why not.
intimated to
Yep.
them that was probably not promise, but a thing. So it'd be great to tell them like, yeah, move on in. Probably better stewards than at least the last two tenants.
Oh, also, did I get an answer on if Mel could hang on to the cloak?
I
I
think
don't see anyone protesting.
Ulvius is the one holding it, right? Because Ulvius was identifying it.
Yeah.
I'll just hold it out for Mel.
Yeah, she'll take it.
Maybe don't touch the brooch too much. Or I guess do if it was a positive.
She gives a half smile at Haza and just looks away.
We'll unpack that later. Add that to the list.
Max, did we get a handout for that?
Yes.
It's like the second thing in the or third
Oh,
thing
okay.
in the
There
list.
you go.
Gotcha. I just had to open all the pop out
The
menus.
first effect is also pretty neat.
Oh.
But the use of
Oh.
it is fascinating.
Oh. Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh man. Max, you have no idea what you just done.
I've been trying to do this for so long.
Well, you've done it. Congratulations, man. You've done it.
The cheesy meta strat is give it to the paladin.
Oh, yeah, I thought about that when I was like cooking this
Yeah.
up. I was like,
Uh-huh.
getting him to attune to it and then just passing it around,
Mhm.
really not the worst idea.
It's not the lore one, but it is the
I mean, that's the thing. Like this one
Just
is
because it's called the
designed.
lover's hand, like I mean, it's an act of care is much more
Yeah.
platonic than
that's
Mhm.
fair.
the name of it sounds.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. That's the
That
thing.
that
Like,
first part ain't.
Yeah.
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 Could be. Can't be.
For the moment, let's get the fuck out of this place.
Seconded.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Is
mean,
that something you can do today, Mel? By the way, talk to Trogrot's body.
Yes, actually.
Fantastic.
Are we going to be able to make it there before anybody needs to sleep?
Math-wise,
Don't.
no, but you can press if you choose to.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't known what time it is for like a week. I've just been going along with whatever anybody was confident enough said.
Yeah, same. Being in here sucks. I want to leave the Underdark so bad.
I mean, okay, talk as we walk, talk as we walk.
All right.
Let's get the fuck out of this horrible temple place.
This is a historical place.
It is
Yeah,
okay.
bad shit happened here, but I mean, it's still.
Some of the statues are pretty, yes.
It's just
I know.
fascinating, right? Most people think of minotaurs. You think of getting hit in the face with an axe, but I mean, they built all this. They dug this. They worked this.
Haven't we run into Minotaur architecture before? Wasn't there something in the in this Jinn hideout that was Minotaur? Was that all elemental?
That was all elemental.
That was yeah.
Mm.
Torque, we should get you like you should start writing like a formal book on the old shit that we find that nobody remembers.
Torek will pull out a leather-bound tome that takes up the majority of his backpack.
Honestly, I kind of assumed that was just like the day-to-day stuff. Like a soldier's journal kind of thing.
This is
Ulvius,
everything.
Mhm.
I see you poking around. Are you just clearing?
looking for either anything of value or any bodies I can check for anything of value now that we're not being chased out of here.
Sure thing. Why don't you give me an investigation check,
Hmm.
since you're taking the time to be a little thorough. Okay.
Ooh,
God damn.
damn.
All
Holy
right.
shit.
There's not a whole lot of value in this quadrant, but I will say you can find a few more of those Zirkwood plaques that have been unmarked, which maybe is just like raw materials you can sell for a handful of gold.
I will just call out that I've found some of those things and wait to hear if anybody wants them. But Ulvius is not interested.
Okay.
Did you touch him?
Why should I not touch it? And as Ulvius is reaching for one.
These ones unmarked have no further like messages to reveal.
Yeah, I touched it.
Did it do anything?
No, is it supposed to do something?
Yeah.
Is anybody interested in broken objects? Because these don't work. Just my luck. Oh well.
And the mind flayers don't really have like a lot of use for like gold and shit. Also, not a lot of like expensive components from these guys either. Yeah, okay. Anything else in this place?
Other than staring longingly into the abyss.
Oh God.
Oh, wow. Just
Yeah,
nudge Torque with my foot and like gesture to Mel.
yeah, I imagine since Mel just walked past everything because she thought everyone was getting out of there fast, she just like made it to the bridge, looked back, and saw that no one was following her, so she just waited and ended up like this.
Hair whipping
Everybody,
in the wind. All right. Okay. If that is all, you guys can make your way back on your path. It sounds like you wanted to tell the Myconids that they could come this way. Was that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll allow you to do so without needing to have that
Yeah.
interaction. And then
I'll
we
be the
can.
volunteer to breathe the spores again since it didn't kill me last time.
And then for next session, if we want, we can start with potentially speaking to Trograth's body.
yeah.
Okay. All right. In that case, we'll call our session.
Gah.
Good work, everyone.